Hi everyone, Catherine here from Inky Finger Cat. I'm back with another Christmas in July project. Almost there, almost at the end of the month. Theme for today is Christmas post. So when I did my planning for Christmas in July, I did it all in advance so that I've got a whole list of all the themes and what products I might use, etc. And sometimes I've kept to it and sometimes I've not, to be perfectly honest. Sometimes I've gone on a completely different tangent from what I planned. But this one, I knew I wanted to use this postage stamp set from Carrabelle stamps, who I know don't exist anymore. It's very sad. One of the casualties of the modern craft industry just sometimes isn't working. EU, blah, 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 all of that kind of stuff. Anyway, I digress. I really wanted to basically make my own little postage stamps. So that's what I did. And I don't know why I stamped 5, because I didn't have a final idea in mind of what I wanted to do, but I just wanted to make my own little postage stamps. Now, I know Waffle Flower have got this amazing series of postage stamp. I think it's like a die and matching stencil, and then a whole load of what you're going to put in your actual stamp designs. They've got these amazing things. I don't own any of those. Really popular, and I don't know, it just didn't appeal to me. I think there's some really cute ones, but just not things that I thought, oh yeah, I'd want to use that over and over again. So I've never really bought it. Or I've never bought it, not really bought it, I've never bought it. But I remembered I've got this Carrabelle set, which includes like an outside squiggly edge that's bigger, and then a postage stamp, which you've seen me stamp, and then this sort of like cancellation stamp that they put on when you send things through the post, etc. And I created a little mask so that I wouldn't put the stamped image over the white border. And now I've decided, originally I thought I might use the mask and like do some ink blending of some description just to put a background down, but I didn't. I decided to just do colouring with my pro markers and just create these little scenes. I say scenes, obviously 2 of them are absolutely scenes, 3 of them are absolutely scenes in terms of a deer, a robin, and then the little tree scene. But this one with the holly leaves is quite a modern, funky looking holly leaf. It doesn't look particularly naturalistic. So I thought, well, I'll just go for a bright red stamp. Why not? You can do what you want. You're being creative. You're allowed to choose what you want. Now, I know previously I've talked about mass making, etc. Oh my goodness, you could go to town on this. You could do all the same stamp over and over again. Be absolutely fine. Or because I actually ended up using all 5 on one card, you could do the same 5 over and over again. And all those tips that I've said in previous videos around pick up the pen, do all of the colouring that you need for that colour over and over again. You can absolutely make this multiple times. I also make this quite a dimensional card, which I know not everybody wants on their Christmas cards because it costs a fortune to post everything. Hilarious, since today's theme is Christmas post. I actually count that as an expensive Christmas of fun. I really enjoy sending Christmas cards when I remember to send them. I have friends who know that I'm not very good at actually sometimes sending them. I have managed, I think, for 3 years on the run now to actually send my Christmas cards in time for Christmas. Maybe my international people don't always get them in time for Christmas, but you know, they get them over the Christmas period usually. Maybe January. So anyway, you could absolutely mass make this. You could absolutely simplify it in terms of what the end result is. But this little bit, create some 5 tiny scenes. You can just use some small stamps or just use part of stamps. That deer stamp is quite a large stamp. I've just used part of it. It still works. You're just creating a miniature scene. Oh, I don't quite know why, but there was a massive beep outside then, sorry. But yeah, you're just creating a little scene, or you're just creating a little bit of the branch, or, you know, you're going to create something quite funky like these ones with the silhouette stamps of the holly. What's also great is there isn't a die that cuts this out, or if there was, I never owned it. But you don't need to do all the wiggly bits. I have done previously when I've used this stamp. I just cut it in a straight line across the edges, and it's good enough. You don't need to always do intricate fussy cutting. This is absolutely fine. Now, obviously, if you happen to have either a die that fits this, or you really want it to do all the fussy cutting, go for it. It's absolutely fine. Right, colouring in done, cutting out done. I just had a little dig through the scraps box. Oh, excuse me. And I just wanted it to just sit on something. I wanted my 5 stamps to sit on something. So I chose that dark green cardstock. I'm not entirely sure I needed to do that, but I just wanted to. And you could have absolutely chosen a different colour like the red, etc. But what I did decide was I wanted a little bit of texture in the background, and I ummed and ahed between using the time-worn type, which is obviously looks like a letter that's been scrumpled up, or this quite modern Merry Christmas. And I went with the modern Merry Christmas because I thought actually the way that I've coloured the images, they look quite modern. Going back to those waffle flower ones, they do have stamp sets that go with them that do the cancellation marks, and they have the little prices that you put in the corner of stamps. And I know that they did a British stamp set as well for that, so it got 50p and stuff. Not that a stamp costs 50p these days, but you know what I mean. As well as the American. I think they possibly did euros. Could be wrong. I don't own any. But yeah, you could absolutely make these into more realistic looking stamps than they currently are. But to be honest, I think it's fine. Now you can see here, this is the bit that took me some fiddling around to get them to be the right size to fit on the stamp, on the front of the card. This is where that Kingston's Crafts tape runner is absolutely brilliant, because it's sort of repositionable. It does stick eventually. If you really press it down, etc., it becomes more stuck. But I'm just sort of lightly placing these into place and it works fine. And as you can see there, I went through a few different iterations of how I wanted it to look. And as a result, I've kind of pulled them up at quite a few times. So I don't think the stick's going to be as good now because I've moved them so many times. So I did add a little bit of wet glue in just to make sure it was secure. Also, it was going on to texture in a few of the places, so I think sometimes wet glue is probably your safest bet. But really happy with this. Now I'll just need a sentiment. Now there is one that says sending good cheer, but I hadn't got it already stamped and embossed and die cut, so I instead went with making spirits bright, even though sending good cheer would probably make more sense with the postage stamps. But by this point I'm being lazy. I'm not going to go and stamp and die cut another one. Not when I've got this big puddle of them still to be used up. And added some gems. That was it. Done and dusted. So simple-ish card. Really, I think, impactful. But I would welcome your comments on that as to whether you agree or not. I think it's really cute to just take some small stamps or to take partial stamps, create your own little scene in a little frame. Perfect. Hope you enjoyed. Please do give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below as to how you feel. Subscribe to see more. Please join us on our Facebook group. The details are in the description below. Until next time, thank you for watching and goodbye.